Hello out there, percussionists. John Hearns here. Welcome to another episode of Roloff's Social Practicing series. We're on mallet keyboards today, obviously. We're going to be talking about a scale today, but not a major scale like we have done in the past. We're going to be talking about something called a chromatic scale. Chromatic scale. Chromatic scales are super easy to visualize on the mallet keyboard because between a starting note and an ending note, you're going to hit every bar that you see. So, for example, if I have a C and a C an octave above, if I wanted to play that chromatic scale, I would play every note I see, every bar that I see between those two C's. You can start and end on any note, and it doesn't have to be an exact octave. You can play from an F to a C, play chromatic passages just as easily as from an F to an F, an octave above. So, but today we are going to stay in and start practicing in one octave chromatic scales just to give us something solid to start and end on. Now, a chromatic scale, first of all, like I said, you play every bar in between two given pitches. So, for example, if I have an F and an F octaves, I can hit every bar I see in between and that is a chromatic scale. So a couple things you need to know about the chromatic scale. First of all, when I'm going slow, I like to play in the center of both the white bars and the black bars, just because I have lots of time to make my switch from right hand on black to left hand on black. Okay, so for example, if I start, let's just say I start left hand on the F and the right hand on the F sharp, when I get to the B and the C that are half steps, now that switches and puts my left hand up top and my right hand on bottom. Okay, so I have plenty of time to do that when I'm moving slowly. If you're really trying to play a chromatic scale quickly, you can, if you'd like, move that black bar, move the mallet for the black bar right down on the very edge. Okay, so if this is my bar, instead of playing in the center, I can play right on the very edge. And I can, when I build speed, that might help me move a little faster because I don't have as far to travel. Okay, so at the beginning, we're going slow. It'd probably be a good idea to play in the center of each bar. Now, something else you should know about the chromatic scale. Usually you will see it written with sharps on the way up, sharps and naturals on the way up, and then flats and naturals on the way down. And the reason they do that is to minimize the number of accidentals that you're going to see on the page. So for example, if you're on page 63 in the mallet player's toolbox at the bottom, you see an F chromatic scale written there. It starts on F, and then it goes up to F sharp, and then G sharp, and so forth, all the way up until you get to an F an octave above. If we had written it as flats, you would have to have more accidentals in your music, because if I would have gone F to G flat, I would have to then write a G natural, an accidental natural sign to cancel out the G flat, and then go to A flat, and then an A natural with the natural accidental to cancel out the A flat. And the same thing for B flat to B natural, and so forth. So just in using the grouping of three black keys, if I use flats on the way up, I would have to have 6 accidental signs. G flat, G natural, A flat, A natural, B flat, B natural. That can get kind of crowded in the music. However, if you see here written as sharps, I only need 3. F, F sharp, G doesn't have to have an accidental because I'm not canceling anything. G sharp. A, again, just plain old A, doesn't need the natural sign because I'm not canceling a flat. A sharp, B, and then C. So I use 3 sharps on the way up as opposed to using flats and natural signs where I would have to use 6 accidentals. Now the opposite is true on the way down. It's a lot easier to play flats on the way down instead of sharps and then a natural sign canceling the sharp. So typically speaking, sharps on the way up, flats on the way down. But even though it looks different, remember that those are inharmonics. So on the way up, it's an F sharp. On the way down, it's a G flat. It's the same pitch. F sharp, G flat, same pitch. Okay, we're going to play the F chromatic scale that's on the bottom of page 63 in Mallet Player's Toolbox. We're going to start with both hands. You can see the stickings written there to do one with the right hand lead and then do it again with the left hand lead. I always recommend practicing all of your scales with both right hand lead and left hand lead because you want to be able to be prepared and be comfortable for any possible musical situation that could come up. Sometimes you might need to play a passage starting with the left hand and sometimes with the right hand. So if you've practiced both, then you're comfortable with both. Nothing wrong with that. All right, so let's play the F chromatic scale. So every bar between one F and an octave above it. Okay, and let's start with our right hand this time. We're in triplets. Ready? 1, 2, 3, triplet, go. Let's try it with the left hand. Okay, start with the left hand. 1, 2, 3, triplet, go. Okay, once you had a chance to practice that chromatic scale from F to F, feel free to practice starting and ending on any number of pitches that you would like. C to C, G to G, B flat to B flat. You can try smaller chunks. You can try playing the entire length of your keyboard. Whatever you come up with is great for practicing the chromatic scale. We're going to put this into context and play a piece out of the Mallet Player's Toolbox called Doubled Over, which is found on page 75. And this solo incorporates little chromatic passages, so it's perfect for following up a lesson on practicing the chromatic scale. So first thing, this particular piece, the key signature says all naturals. So that's good for reading a piece of music if it's all natural. That way you can more easily follow the sharps and flats from the chromatic scale that you find within the passage. However, it does get a little more complicated when your key signature has some sharps or flats already in there. It takes a little bit of brain power to remember what was changed in the key signature and then what has changed through accidentals on the page. But a little bit of practice and you'll be fine reading chromatic passages in many different keys. So we're going to practice doubled over, and we're going to see how some of this chromatic scale stuff works in a piece of music. 1, 2, 3, 1, ready, go. Okay, that's the chromatic scale. I hope you enjoyed today's little lesson. Make sure you're practicing the chromatic scale, starting and ending on different spots all over your keyboard, and then try to find some music that incorporates the chromatic scale so that you can practice reading it as well as playing it. Keep those percussion tools sharp and stay active in music, because there will come a time when we're all back together again making music like we're used to. All right, until next time, so long, percussionists.